Hello. Okay, well, I thinking about closing down the nursery. I've been thinking about it for a long time because it's just too quiet and lonely and stuff. But I just, there's so much I wanted to share, and I'm so proud of the space and the gardens I've been making, and it's going to be a big job to move all of this. But I wanted to just show you a few works in progress. Also, just to document it for my own fun and to show friends and stuff. So hopefully one day I'll get to share these with someone. These are some works that I'm working on at the moment. Anyway, this is an old water heater cylinder. This is the bottom of it anyway, which I've sliced off with a what do you call it? An angle grinder. And yeah, it's interesting. It's I only just made it the other day. Beautiful spiral aloe vera, I think, in the centre here. And these will eventually spread and sort of overflow. I'd love to see it in a few years, like in say 5 years. I imagine it'll be not so much gravel showing and more just colour overflowing. Yeah, it's always, I'd love to do some time-lapse photography of these works. This pot, you've seen it over and over again. I haven't figured out what to put in it next. And it's the same pot. I only made 2 of these ever. One of them was sold to Living Simply in Canberra, and I've still got this one. So they're 2 one-offs. And here's another one. These were all made at the National Art School in Sydney, and same with that one. I haven't really had time to set up the ceramic studio, although that was the plan when I moved here originally, to set up in this big shed here, but I'm getting council approval to make it fire safe. Bit of a challenge. Anyway, I won't go over there now, but I'll show you some other things I've been working on. This is a box garden which using timbers from the Tathra Wharf. The council were pulling up some rotten sleepers, so I managed to salvage what was left and brush it back with a wire brush and screw it together with long bolts, and underneath it's got like a drainage mesh so all the water filters through. And this is the metal cylinder from the water heater from that garden over there, same piece. And these are old oxygen cylinders which I've chopped off, and it's getting a bit sunny, a bit hard to see, but yeah, lots of different varieties, and they're all just starting to flower now. It's not the best light to show you some of the beauty of the actual plants, but yeah, some of them are absolutely, this is beautiful varieties, chiseled. Yeah, and some other pieces under construction still down here. These are a vertical garden, which it's a bit tricky to explain. There's an irrigation hose in the top, so when this is hanging on the wall, like so, the water runs from the top down through a layer of carpet on the back, and there's soil inside cells. There's a fly screen, and these little succulents, they're Sempervivums, most of them. I just sat on the fly screen, and they're actually growing roots in through the fly screen slowly. They'll take root and eventually spread over this, but it will take another couple of years before that's looking good. And then I'll put a nice rustic timber edge over the top so you don't really see. Yeah, anyway, not much more here, but I wanted to have a look inside the shade house. This guy here, this took ages to figure out the joinery, the angles, and to make these brackets. It's a beautiful design. It could be a bit deeper. It was designed to be a hanging basket, actually, like suspended from buildings in the city. Maybe 3 cables, one from each corner, going off in different directions. But at the moment it's just, I've just put some Hardenbergia. It's like a native wandering plant, which is climbing up over this tree trunk. And I've also got a creeping fig which is climbing up slowly. But the scale of this is not really right. I don't know if it's the best solution. I might change that. I just needed somewhere to put the Hardenbergia. I've got some strawberries growing in a box, and these are just recently purchased strawberries. transplanted into a timber box. Yeah. What else have we got here? Oh, these boxes are quite time consuming to make, but I'll show you, that's what they sort of look like underneath. Can you see? It's a metal grid, recycled, just mesh that I found at the tip. Or in the junk pile, should I say. And I've got avocados. Every avocado I eat, I save the seeds and put in a pot. And they're all sprouting. I've got some mangoes, which I've saved seeds, and they're sprouting. This is a mango tree. This is mango as well. Is that avocado or mango? No, that's avocado, I think. Yeah. I've got a little burrowing fern. Beautiful specimen. Takes years to grow. I've had it since I was started the nursery. Even before I started the nursery, they're super slow growing. I've got this garden here. I'm very pleased with actually the shape of it. It's a nice size pot. I've just replanted it with a few new succulents, and there's some really nice varieties in here actually. This is all shade variety plants, and it's looking pretty happy, and they're very slow growing, so this hasn't really done much in the last year. It just sits there and it's still alive, you know. It's creating a little home. Look, a spider's moved into it. You can see a spider net, I think, around this. Yeah, you see the spider. And I sometimes clear away the spider webs, but you know, the spiders live in there anyway. And underneath, the drainage holes are a bit like so. And I've got a water pond here with some these taro will eventually in spring, I imagine. I think it's a taro plant or some sort of big leaf. That'll get huge and tower over. The pot. Oh, these are great. These are, is it trunculata or, hang on, Haworthia truncata. That's, yeah, right, that's this one here. That got mixed up. Really interesting. It's truncated, so it's been chopped off. It's just a very interesting variety. You can almost see into the top of it, like little glass windows. And this is a stone plant. Quite unique. And this is another stone plant. It's just been split, or it's sort of reproducing, but it's a bit damaged. Yeah. What else can I show you? Oh, so yeah, this is like the propagation shed. It took so long to set up all this, right? All these timber boards were salvaged from the tip and standing on Besser blocks and making this soil bay and building shelves and getting everything organised, shelves upon shelves, under shelves. So yeah, it's a great space. It really works well. But moving, I don't know, gee, it's a big job to move. Maybe I'll move to Sydney, maybe I'll close it down altogether and just work at other nurseries. It's just too much work, like too much monotony as well, selling wholesale plants. And then I've been very indecisive about the use of pebbles in the gardens, because like these pebbles here, for example, they come from New Zealand, and while they look beautiful and they sell them to companies that build swimming pools, I've also read articles about like the pebble industry in America and Alaska. They're planning to mine pebbles in big rivers that'll damage ecosystems that where the salmon are spawning, and so it doesn't seem like a very sustainable industry, and it's something that if I have to give up using pebbles in my work, I really have to take a stand and yeah, perhaps not use them anymore, which has made my workshops very difficult, because you know, I did feel that stones have a place in garden design and always have and always will, but we have to be careful about where these stones come from. I think certain environments, like marine environments, are rather sensitive. I know that these pebble mining companies, some of them, have quite strict laws about where they come from. Yeah, so anyhow, I'll have to rethink all that, and I really slowed down on the use of pebbles in my gardens and shells, because I don't want to encourage the poaching of shells, especially live shells from reefs up in Thailand and Vietnam and what have you. I know it creates jobs for people, but yeah, it just doesn't make me feel all that good about the environment, and that's one of the purposes behind this work, is to help people understand the fragility of of nature, and also that we have an ability to create beautiful environments and to heal a lot of landscape that's been damaged by smothering the cities with layers of concrete and infrastructure, which eventually, even if we were to leave the cities, they would probably come back to life, like you see in spaces like Chernobyl that have been closed off to life. Eventually the forests grow back and the wildlife comes back, but we can speed up that process and make our cities more livable by covering it with life. So yeah, what have I got going out here? I've got a couple of pots that were sort of experiments. This one here I had to repot after it's half done. There's no plants in the outside bit yet, and I've got one plant in the middle, and these guys here which will eventually take root and tip themselves the right way up, a bit like this here. So yeah, this I'm quite pleased with this pot actually. It's an old motorbike wheel which I found at the tip, and I've put a mesh bottom on it and fly screen, filled it with soil, and it's taken at least a year and a half for these to start to take root, and eventually I hope this spring it'll flower and shoot pups enough to cover the whole surface, so by the end of summer it'll look really quite amazing. Yeah, and it's not really a lot. Okay, well I'm full of stock here. It's all a bit small at the moment. These varieties are still growing, so I've got pretty much it's the beginning of spring. This is about all the stock I've got. The reason I started the nursery was so I had enough plants to make the artworks, and and also to get a bread and butter sort of income, because selling the artworks has been quite difficult, and especially because I put so much time into them. I felt like I had to put high prices on them, and that sort of it's not it's not nice to overcharge for your work, and I never felt comfortable putting price tags on my work, especially because some of the pots have stones and shells that I've collected. Sort of well before I started my business, actually, I was collecting pebbles and shells. Just it was in my nature, I guess, to be a collector, and I didn't really know what to do with them, and so I used them in the gardens, and they looked fantastic, and I thought, wow, it's such a fantastic healing process, and these things that are made by nature, if you can bring attention to the beauty of them, like this rock for example, it's quite spectacular. And so now, for example, these rocks were taken from a cutting on Dr. George Mountain Road. So it was like where a highway was built, or a road was cut through a mountain, and these rocks were crumbling away, and so I figured, well, it's not really noticeable, whereas some places perhaps should be conserved, and I totally agree that national parks and places of untouched wilderness should be like that. They should be untouched wilderness if we can save as much natural wilderness as possible, but we need materials to build our houses and our cars, and you think about the glass on the windscreen of any car, or it's all made from stone or sand that's taken from the earth, and so there's been that dilemma of using the earth's materials. Wow, there's a little lorikeet's just left. You hear that? It's just gone quiet. This massive tree. It's a blood gum cross spotted gum, and the lorikeets just love it. Absolutely. Anyhow, that's all for today. Alright, I'll talk to you later. See ya.